Okay, so thank you to Anna and to Jesse for being here to support our interpretation today. And welcome everyone, our Alta Vista and La Cuesta students and families. Thank you for joining us to talk about our return to in-person learning. I'm Lauren Berlin, and I'm the principal of Alta Vista and La Cuesta High Schools. And I also have our Dean of Students here with me today.
Hi, this is James Bedard. It's good to see you all today. Thanks for being here.
So again, welcome. We always like to get to know who is in our audience today, which schools you're from. And so we, at this time, with just a few attendees, are not going to do a poll. We're able to see what schools and programs you are affiliated with. So we'll go ahead and skip to our next slide. All right, so the reason that we're here today, we know that everyone's been receiving a lot of messaging from the Santa Barbara Unified School District, from our schools, that there are, it seems like every day, news stories in the Newshawk, the Independent, and on social media about what is happening with schools and schools reopening. And so I wanted to hold this webinar today in order to really talk about what that means for students of Alta Vista and of La Cuesta High School. So really what I hope that you are able to learn in the time that we're together today is more about when specifically students might be returning, understand what hybrid means when it comes to Alta Vista's programs or to La Cuesta, and what communication you should expect to hear in the coming days or weeks as we are leading up to having our students return on campus. I think I also just want to pause here and say how excited we are about that, how much we have missed students, and how we're just really looking forward to returning students back on campus in all of our programs. So one of the questions that I'm getting asked a lot and that people are really wondering is when will students be back on campus? We believe it will be soon, but we don't have an official date yet for a couple reasons. As of this past Tuesday, in our county, our adjusted daily case rate was still at 16 per 100,000 people. And that needs to still decline and get to 7 or fewer cases per 100,000. When we get to that number, we will then enter the red tier. And that is one of the two things that need to happen for us to return students to school. The numbers have been steadily trending down, and we really expect that that will be happening in the coming days or weeks, which is why we're here talking about all this today. It looks really exciting and looks like that return to red tier is very close. So we do need that first part of students returning is that number goes to 7 cases or fewer per 100,000 people. And we need board approval. And so on Tuesday, March 9th, I expect that there will be a special board meeting. And at that time, the board will be able to vote on the item of secondary students, so 7th through 12th grade students in our district, returning back to in-person learning pending that red tier status. So students would not be returning before March 9th. But could potentially be returning as soon as that later that week in March. So March 11th, March 12th, pending that red tier status. So that's what we're really waiting on in terms of getting an official date. Okay. So you've probably heard about hybrid learning for students. And the most important thing that I want you to know as Alta Vista or La Cuesta students or families is that hybrid learning doesn't apply to you. Hybrid learning is an alternating day schedule where some students attend on A days, other students attend on B days. And the reason that the other schools in our district, elementary and junior high and high schools, have to return in hybrid is because of their class size for social distancing. So you can see in this image, this is what social distancing looks like for us. This is a classroom at La Cuesta. Our normal average class size at La Cuesta, where we have the largest classes of any of our programs, is about 12 to 15 students. And so we are able to socially distance our students at 6 feet apart at their individual desks and have everyone return. So La Cuesta will not have a rotating A or B day schedule. All students, when we're signaled that we can return, all students will return 5 days per week. There will not be a hybrid schedule. For Alta Vista, it's a little bit different because students never attended school every day of the week at Alta Vista in the independent study, middle college, or flex programs, because those are all independent study programs, and they never had a daily attendance required. So students in those 3 Alta Vista programs will have an opportunity to re-engage in some components of their program in person if they would like to do so. So if a student would like to have their mentor meeting in person, or they would like to come, if they're in the Alta Vista Independent Study Program and they would like to come and have some support from their teachers on their campus, they will be able to do those things. What that looks like for each of the programs will be a little bit different. And so on the next slide, I'll talk a little bit about what sort of messaging you can expect so that you can know, depending on what your program is, what are those options for in-person learning going to be? What opportunities might I have? And if you don't want to return in person, things are working for you remotely, what could that look like for you as well? So again, I'll talk a little bit more about that. Alta Vista Quetzal is the last of our programs. And I just want to mention that again, we will be working with the students and families in that program to message out their schedule. But again, in none of our programs will we be having a rotating A day, B day sort of hybrid schedule. Okay. So I've started to talk a little bit about the kinds of communication that you should expect. What is really important for me to highlight, and I know that you receive a lot of Parent Square messages because you don't just get them from James and I or from Janina, our family outreach coordinator. You also receive Parent Square messages from the school district office. If you have children at multiple schools or you have siblings at multiple schools, you might receive, duplicative messages for all of them as well. So we know that there's a lot going on. But in this time, it's going to be really important that you still take a moment to review those messages that you get via Parent Square, because it is our best way to share the most important information with you. I would also suggest that you make sure you know what your Parent Square settings are. You have some different options in Parent Square to receive a message immediately when it is posted, or to receive a message in a daily digest at the end of the day. With the daily digest settings, some parents have reported that they miss a message if it's posted later in the afternoon, that they don't receive it until the following day's daily digest. So I do just want to highlight that receiving some messages might be delayed if you have the digest setting. If you have questions about your Parent Square settings, whether you get text messages or emails, you're wondering if you get the digest or you get messages immediately, please contact us at the school. We can help you look at your settings and make sure that your Parent Square account is set up just the way that you would like it. Also, when it comes to communication for all of our programs, communicating with your mentor teachers is one of the very best ways to get the most up-to-date information and to get questions answered. Your administrators, myself and Mr. Bedard, and your counselors, Ms. Snyder or Ms. Frecking, are also really good points of contact for you. And of course, you know that we have a large support team with Janina Martinez, Carmelita Cuellar, Margarita Rodriguez, who support our families and our students in answering questions that they have. So please always reach out to us. We know and understand that the Parent Square messages have a lot of information and that you may still have questions. And we really want you to know that we're here to answer those. In terms of next steps, I'm sorry, could you back up one slide? Thank you. All students and families in every program will be receiving a message or communication from me before the end of the day on Friday. Depending on your program, you might be receiving a survey about returning to in-person learning, or you might be getting more detailed program information because our 5 programs are very different from each other. There are different steps that we are taking in each of our different programs. Again, what's important to know is that by Friday, you should be receiving some additional communication about your program, either a survey or some specific details. And once a return date is established, when we know what our first day back for in-person learning is going to be, we will be sending additional messaging at that time to students in every program with all of the details and things that you'll need to know about where you go, where you check in, how you get your health screenings completed, and all those sorts of things. So again, we will be sending that information to you as soon as we have that date. We have some time. We don't have too many attendees in this meeting, but to review any questions that anyone has. If you have a question, this would be a great time in English or in Spanish to put that question in the chat box. I'm sorry, in the Q&A box at the bottom. It looks like 2 little talking bubbles. So if there are any questions that anyone has, we'll pause for a moment and can take those questions now. Okay, so it looks like no one has any questions at this time. I want to end the meeting today by highlighting our very new and very updated website for both Alta Vista and La Cuesta High Schools. This is going to be a really great place for you to find the most updated information. As of today, it is updated newly with a brand new COVID-19 section. It has information about our different health and safety protocols. And we will be continuing to update our website at least weekly and sometimes more often, because we really want this to be a place that students and parents can go to find the information that they're looking for. So I would encourage you to bookmark our website. It's www.alted.sbunified.org. And again, you can find lots of information here. I hope you would be able to find answers to a lot of your questions. And what you can also find is a staff directory that will take you to contact information for your mentor teachers, for any of our support team, or administrators, counselors, etc. So please visit us on our website. Thank you for coming to the webinar today. We really appreciate your time. If you're watching this at a later time, because we are recording this webinar, and you have questions that we didn't answer, please go ahead and reach out to us. We will be hosting another webinar at 5 o'clock this evening. So if you're viewing this today, it's Thursday, March 25th, and it's not 5 o'clock yet and you have questions, feel free to join us at 5. We thank you for your time and for listening. We hope this information was helpful. And we're really excited to get to see your students. Students, we're excited to get to see you very soon, as soon as maybe March 11th. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you again for joining us.